Myles, why do you think it's so difficult to play St. John's both these times? What do they do that gives you guys trouble?
They just play hard. That's it. I mean, we didn't play well tonight. We didn't shoot the ball well. Our defense wasn't there for 40 minutes. But credit to St. John's, they play hard every second of the game, regardless if it's 7 players or 8 players or 5 players. Everyone who gets on that court plays hard. So credit to them.
What was it about your defense that you didn't think was working well?
I don't know. I mean, they made shots. They executed. That's it. I mean, I don't.
And you played straight man-to-man tonight, no zone?
We played some zone. Obviously, we played a couple zone a little bit. But only when things weren't going the right way. So.
Myles, you seem pretty down about a win. I mean, obviously, you guys thought you should have won by more. What was Coach's message, or at least feeling to the team in the locker room?
I mean, at the end of the day, a win's a win. You know, like I said, credit to St. John's. But I mean, to us, we should have played better. We allowed way too many points. What did we allow? 80-something points and a lot in like 40-something in the second half. But they also stopped us a lot, messed up our offense, took us out of flow a little bit. So that kind of messed things up a little bit. But I mean, of course, you when you feel like you should play better, you're gonna feel a little down. But at the end of the day, we won, so I'm happy about that.
JP, you gave the team a really big boost in one possession where you got 2 offensive rebounds and then hit a 3-pointer, and that really helped you guys separate, even though it was still kind of close through the end. Can you just talk about that sequence there and kind of lift the game?
Yeah, I gave the team a good lift. I usually play with a lot of energy throughout the game, and by getting those offensive rebounds, I think the team realized that we could play even harder than what we were, and then that gave us a little boost.
JP, you know different guys are going to step up. This team's going to go as far as you guys want to down the stretch. How important is it for guys like you and other ones to really step up at nights like this when you need that much extra offense to beat the team who scores 82?
You know, I think it's important. Our team's so deep that, like you said, like somebody could have a good night, 3 other guys could have a bad night, but I think it's just important for everybody to stick to the process and continue to keep shooting the ball if you're missing it, giving each other confidence, and I think we'll be fine.
Do you think it affected the team when Jalen got those 2 fouls in the first minute?
No, because the next guy should be ready to play. Regardless if Jalen got a foul, I got a foul, Ed got a foul, we have so much confidence in the next player that, you know, that they're not going to like our energy and stuff's not going to go down when that next player comes in. So, I mean, it sucked Jalen had 2 fouls, but, you know, we always have confidence in that next player.
Myles, no other Xavier team has reached 20 wins this fast. I know there's a long way to go, but do you guys take some sort of pride in doing that this year?
We take a lot of pride in sticking to the process, like JP said, and trying to stay consistent. You know, it's very tough as a college athlete to stay consistent through it with the whole season. You know, that's what the really good teams, the elite teams, the great teams do. You know, it's good that we got to 20 this fast, but you know, we're trying to keep moving on and keep going. You know, yeah, 20's nice. We'll enjoy it tonight, but you know, it's all about the next game and focusing on Marquette and trying to stay successful in the conference.
In this league, you really can't afford to take a night off against whether it's the bottom team or the top teams in this league. But how difficult is that for you guys? You mentioned maintaining that consistency. How difficult is that to give your 100% effort every night in a conference where you're almost required to do so?
I think it all starts in practice. You know, it all starts with how you prepare for the game. It all starts with how you warm up. It all starts with taking every team as if they were the best team in the country. You know, sometimes we lose a little focus and might play down to the level of competition, but you know, we have to treat every team just as well and just as tough, regardless of their record or regardless of what they've done. Yeah, like I said, it's tough to be consistent, but you know, as long as you have like good amount of leaders on the team and everybody's invested into the one main goal, then you know we can do whatever we want.
Well, maybe it wasn't what outsiders or fans expected, but that's what happens in the Big East. You know, we ran into a team that played extremely hard for 40 minutes, despite their record coming in, and you know, you tip your cap. I don't think we played exceptionally well, but you know, I kept looking at the stat sheet, and seeing that we're dominating on the glass, that we're doubling him basically in free throws, both makes and attempts throughout the game, but yet the game just stayed close. And there were some plays that I thought could have busted it open that we didn't make. St. John's, to their credit, did, and it kept the game close all the way throughout the 40 minutes. So again, with the Wednesday, Saturday turnaround, we'll watch the tape, but we're going to be more focused, obviously, on Marquette as we move forward. A team that's up until tonight has won 3 games in a row in the Big East. I have no idea what they're doing right now. Questions?
Chris, it's pretty unusual for one of your teams or a team this season to give up 80 points or more. How would you assess the defense?
Well, there were a lot of possessions. I mean, when you see 70 shots, when you see 61 shots, 40 free throws on our end, like our DER, isn't as poor as you think it is. There were a lot more possessions.
So you were okay with the defense, and there wasn't any?
Well, I don't think it's as bad as what people are going to think it's as bad. Simply, point total. I mean, if you have 300 possessions in a game, a team could score 200 points. You know what I mean? So it's, that part of it, there were a lot more possessions simply because St. John's plays downhill. I don't think we did a great job in transition. Again, we were getting to the free throw line 40 times. So there are going to be more possessions in a game. Point totals are going to be up if you're judging it just by the point total. 11 offensive rebounds isn't a terrible job. 6 of 20 from the three-point line, 30% isn't great. 45% overall isn't great. It's not bad. Sort of somewhere in the middle. So again, I think if you're judging it simply by point total, you'd say our defense was bad, but probably not as bad as it appears.
Last time you guys played, Felix Balmu didn't have quite as big of an impact. Has he just come on as the season has progressed, or was he just have a good game tonight?
He's really quick. I mean, we didn't do a good enough job containing his penetration. He's a driver. He doesn't shoot the ball. He got in the lane. He got in the lane in the first half. He got in the lane in the second half. Probably the one guy that I felt like we didn't do as good of a job as we needed to. Duran Johnson, I mean, some of the shots he shoots. I mean, the three in JP's eye in the first half, what are you going to do? I mean, he's a shot maker. He didn't shoot well at St. John's. He shot well today. Yahweh got a lot of stuff that, we had 2 hands on rebounds and the ball gets spilled out and right under the basket. So the guy that I thought hurt us out of his own effort was Felix.
The game was never separated by more than 9 points, but there was a point where you guys went on a 7-0 run in the second half, and JP in one possession got 2 offensive rebounds and hit a big 3. How big was that for you guys in kind of taking the lead and keeping it? JP
provided a ton of energy. To get 5 offensive rebounds in 25 minutes, that's as elite as you can get from the wing position. It's 1 offensive rebound every 5 minutes. We stress trying to get 1 out of every 8 minutes that you play, and really, really helped us. That in the zone. But JP over the last 3 games has played remarkably well, bringing a lot of energy and very consistent play.
You guys are the first team in program history to 20 wins this quickly. Do you take a certain satisfaction in that, or is it just something you'll think about, after the season when all is said and done?
I told our guys in the locker room, you've got some positive feelings about the game, some negative feelings about the game, but we were the first team to get 20 wins in Division I. And talking about 350 some odd Division I teams, to be the first team at 8:30 or whenever the game ended to have 20 wins means we're doing something right.